This right here is a Mac. And this right here is also a Mac. Can you tell the difference? Well, sure you can. This is the new M4 Mac Mini that came out in the great year of 2024. And this is a big, old, chunky MacBook Pro from the year 2011. I'm sure I could speak for a lot of us when I say that a lot of our first gaming experiences with a computer were probably kind of similar. There was usually one computer shared in the home, or maybe someone you knew had a laptop, maybe even a family member, and you would hop on and game. This great machine right here is where it all really started for me. This is where I fell in love with a lot of video games, especially Minecraft. Thousands and thousands of hours mining, building, and exploding a lot of TNT. Another game that I spent a ridiculous amount of time on was Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This was my first FPS on PC, and this poor thing struggled to keep up. The fans would roar and roar like a jet engine.
I'll go A. I can cover A. If you like, purple, you could go to B.
And the graphics were, well, let's just say they weren't exactly photorealistic.
Long. Why, bro?
But back then, this thing was magic. This thing was what I played all my games on. It would run like 40 to 50 frames on a good day, and really, it was probably some of the most fun I've ever had on video games, so I can't complain there. It definitely held me down when times where I got really sick of playing on my console, and made me really appreciate that moment once I finally got a gaming PC. Can it live up to the great legacy that the MacBook Pro had for me? This time, hopefully with a little bit better graphics. I have the new M4 Mac Mini set up right over there on my desk, and we're gonna be trying out a couple games. So maybe you're in the market for a new Mac, or maybe have one already and wanna see if gaming was possible, this video is for you. This video should answer a lot of questions when it comes to doing some easy, moderate, and even some intense gaming with some newer titles on the new M4 Mac Mini. I think we had to start off with a classic, and probably the game that I have the most hours on, and will probably be the game that I play the most for the rest of my life. And that, of course, is Minecraft Java Edition. If you play Bedrock, you're kind of weird, but I think someone had to say it. We got it to open, and now we're gonna check out to see how it runs. This loading screen definitely takes me back, but let's try opening up a single player world. We'll call it M4 Mac Mini Trial. Survival, normal, commands. First, let's see how fast it takes to render a new world from scratch. I thought that was pretty quick. And yes, I am playing on a trackpad because I did have like a gaming mouse, but thought a trackpad would fit a lot more with the more productivity setup feel that I was going for. So we're gonna be playing on a trackpad. Don't judge me too hard. I mean, funnily enough, this was actually how I played Minecraft back in the day because I was on MacBook, right? So a lot of it was that very awkward hand positioning right in front of the keyboard, and that's how I played for years. It wasn't until a couple of years later where I actually got an external like mouse. I know it sounds crazy now, gaming for years and years, and that obviously being the optimal way to like play video games, but it was really just game with what you had, right? But right off the bat, I feel like the frames that we're getting are pretty good. We are gonna be playing on the lowest settings possible, which I did program this already to be. Let's max out the frame rate at unlimited and let's see what we can do. We got smooth lighting and stuff turned off. We're trying to get the best gaming experience possible. And so far, the Mac is holding up pretty well. Like I haven't had any like big stutters. Everything is pretty smooth. So I would say at least for like starting a world and the basics, this is holding up a lot better than I expected and a lot better than I remember, to be honest. Oh, that was a little bit of a stutter there. Oh, it's dealing with something. I think that little pop-up up at the top. Oh, look at it again. It looks like when like little achievements pop up at the top right, it looks like the frames are lagging a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Let's go underwater. Let's see if we can. I do see it breathe a little bit. Like I do see the Mac having a little bit of trouble here and there. I don't think it's absolutely affecting my overall experience of the game, but it might be something to look out. Oh, like you see, it's like very minor stutters, but I feel like with a little bit of graphic fixing, I think if we lower the render distance, realistically render distance doesn't have to be that far. Shadows are already off. Minimap levels, I'm not sure what that is, but let's turn that off. View bobbing, I guess we could turn that off. I think most people play with that off anyways. VSync will turn off. Smooth lighting will turn off. We have graphics on fast. Simulation distance will also match that around 10 or 11. Let's reload that up. With optimal settings, let's see how this runs. Whoa, way different experience. I think the smooth lighting is what was doing it, to be fair. This is handling a lot better already. Okay, we got a little bit of TNT going. Let's see how well. Let's see if we get any stutters now that we got smooth light. I mean, honestly, it's handling it really well already with smooth lighting being off, and maybe that was like the big thing that was holding us back a little bit in the previous world. So let's see how this does with some TNT. And in 3, in 2, in 1, let's see how this does. Pretty good, pretty good. Now there is one thing I want to try, and it's probably the last thing that we're going to try to see if throughout the whole Minecraft experience, we have a smooth experience. And if you have played any Minecraft in the past, you probably know what I'm going to do. We got some and if you've played any Minecraft in the past, you probably know where I'm going with this. We have some obsidian, we have some flint and steel, and we're gonna go to the Nether. But it's a great place for our test here today because it is gonna be handling a lot. There are a lot of different mobs, a lot of different environments in the Nether. And honestly, this is doing pretty well. I'm actually really surprised. I thought we were gonna get a lot more frame lag while we were in the Nether, but I honestly can't complain. And if the main game that you are looking to play on your new Mac Mini is Minecraft, I would honestly give this a big thumbs up. First couple things that we saw was that it loaded up the world pretty quickly. We got in, we started chopping down some wood, we got some wool. We even went to the Nether, and honestly throughout everything, we had a little bit of frame lags. I feel like we did get very minor frame lags here and there. Nothing too crazy, nothing that would really affect my overall experience in playing the game. So for my overall score of Minecraft running on a new Mac Mini, I would give this a 9 out of 10. Now we're gonna be testing out a game that I really didn't play much growing up, but has risen to an insane amount of popularity. And you can maybe kind of tell already by what's behind me, but that game is Roblox. Not a super big Roblox enjoyer. I have got on recently, I'm not gonna lie. I played like some of the Counter-Strike kind of simulation, or like emulating kind of, I think it was called Counterblocks. That was a little bit of fun. I also played like some of the FPS shooters just cause like they run really well on a lot of machines. So on my PC, I was doing a little bit of gaming on Roblox just to see what it was about. But now we're gonna be testing it on that Mac Mini and seeing how it holds up because it is so popular. Like maybe you're getting this Mac Mini for your kid, or maybe you're getting this Mac Mini for somebody that really likes Roblox and want to see and you kind of want to see how the games would run. So we're gonna be checking that out here today. And for this game, since it is compatible with the Apple FPS counter, we actually get some pretty cool statistics on Roblox as compared to Minecraft. And if you guys could tell up here on the top right corner, we actually have an FPS counter now. Some games are a little weird and not compatible with Mac, and that's another thing that we will touch on a little bit later. But with Roblox, we actually get some pretty cool stats up at the top right and will help a lot with the testing of this game. One of the first games that I want to try out and have played a little bit of is going to be Rivals. I'll allow game chat. I'm not sure how I kind of got into it, but I am level 33, so I did put a couple of hours maybe into the game. But let's see how a 1v1 goes. Obviously, I'm going to be playing with the trackpad, so I don't expect myself to win, but we're running at around 60 FPS. Let's actually crank the FPS limit to unlimited. Oh, default. Okay, so we're gonna turn this all the way up to 240 FPS. Let's go arena because arena's the GOAT. Honestly, pretty good. I actually tested this out recently on an M3 iMac, which didn't run as well as this, but this is really smooth, man. Let's see if we could get a win. This guy is level 47. He's playing on mobile. Disappeared. We are running at max frames, which is 100, because even if I set the FPS, oh, he left. Bro, we're just the GOAT. We're actually the GOAT. But honestly, so far, this is holding up really well. Like Minecraft, Roblox, this thing has you covered. We will be playing a game that's a little bit more intense just in a moment, but so far, this thing is insane. But yeah, man, our FPS counter is not dropping below 99, which the max hertz on the M4 Mac Mini is 100 hertz, so anything more than 99 or 100 frames doesn't really matter. So as long as you're maxing out at that 99 range, I feel like it's pretty good. And so far, Roblox is handling this almost perfectly. It's only using about 1.7 gigabytes of that RAM. And with the new Mac Mini, you do get a whole 16 gigabytes of that unified memory that Apple likes to call it. Yeah, we're absolutely cooked, chat. We are cooked. We're probably gonna get knifed here in a second. I can't, bro. I can't play this on a trackpad. It's impossible. So we did indeed lose, but from a performance aspect that we're testing out, this thing, I have no complaints. Roblox honestly surprised me a lot. I mean, I knew it was a game that doesn't take up a lot of, you know, it doesn't require a lot of power. It doesn't require a lot of, like, it's not graphic intensive at all. So it was a game that, I mean, I did have pretty high hopes for, but my expectations were absolutely like blown away. It is a game that's very popular, so for many people that are getting Macs to play Roblox primarily, I think the new M4 Mac Mini definitely has you covered there. My experience overall was a 10 out of 10. It was that much better than Minecraft, where we weren't really getting those random stutters often, and our FPS counter was really just capped out at 100, because it can't get any higher. So that gets 10 big booms, boom, boom. Before we got into the next game, I wanted to mention that a lot of the games that I've wanted to play in this video, it's just not possible because of Mac. If you're unaware, Mac and compatibility with a lot of video games is really not up to par with where Windows is at. For example, I can't play CS2, I can't play some of the new Call of Duty titles, I can't play Rocket League, I can't play Fortnite. It's a lot. That wall is definitely there, and it's definitely, from my perspective at least, and from what I've been hearing, it's not going anywhere. As long as I've been on Mac, that was a big reason why I switched over to PC, because of that big compatibility factor where Mac, I mean, there's nothing you can really do. I mean, you can run a virtual Windows machine on your Mac and try to get it to work that way. But that whole system just seems like a big hassle to get to, especially if you're coming, if you're a new like Mac user, that can seem a little daunting at first. And it's not like you're gonna get like a one-to-one performance that you would get on a Windows machine when you're on a Mac using a virtual window machine, if that makes sense. So if titles are really a big thing, I mean, obviously you're gonna have your favorite video games, and if one of your big video games is not on that compatibility list for Mac, and I'm sure it has been expanding over the years, but it still has a long way to go. And like I said, if one of your favorite video games is not on that compatibility list, it's gonna be hard for you to commit on getting a machine like a Mac compared to a Windows PC if that is a really big like deal breaker for you. If that's something like, if you want a computer that's gonna run your favorite video game, the Mac might not be the way to go. I feel like the main point of this video is, if you're gonna get a Mac for productivity reasons or for everyday work stuff, and you want to do some gaming on the side, not it be your main gaming machine. Obviously it can be that for certain titles, but for most titles and in most cases, your Mac is realistically not going to be your main gaming machine. But it has made some strides in the right direction, which is why we're going to be trying the most intense game yet that we have tried out in this video, which is Rust. Now Rust is one of the most popular games on the Steam market. Its biggest stint in popularity was probably around 2020, so about 5 years ago now, during COVID. It was the first time I had ever downloaded the game. I had watched some videos previously, but this game really needs no introduction. I'm sure you've watched a couple of videos, seen a couple of memes that have originated from Rust at least. And it's our most intense game yet, so we're definitely going to put this to the test. And we're going to join one of the most popular servers on Rust. We do have the FPS counter again on Rust, which is a big thumbs up from me. And now we're going to be loading into the most popular server on US, which is Rustoria.co. Now, if you've ever joined the Rust server, you know that the first time loading in can take a little bit because it has to load a lot of the assets that are already on the server. So we're actually going to start a quick timer to see how long it takes us from the first stopwatch to see how long it takes us to get into the server from the first click. From the stats alone, I can see that it's taking about 6 gigabytes already from the memory. Actually, it's taking up, I think, the full 16 gigabytes of unified memory that the Mac has. It's doing some very intense work on the back end, even some big freezes at times. Looks like it's finally, it is looking like it's finalizing the server. Let's see. Oh, some more stuff. We are currently at 2 minutes. Let's see how much longer this takes. Oh, we got in 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we'll call it, because I did start it a little late. But let's see how this goes. Let's wake up for the first time. Let's see. Okay. Already we're finding our lowest performance yet. As you can see, we're getting some really big stutters. Okay, but that might be just some early stutters. Okay, it's getting better. We're currently at a median of 45 frames. It is looking like it's using a lot of that unified memory up. Now this is on default settings, so let's see what happens if we turn these settings a little bit lower on Rust. We're gonna go to graphics. It's on high right now. We're gonna go to potato. We're gonna do the lowest possible settings. We were getting about 40 frames before. Let's see what this jumps up to. Okay, hold on. It might be taking a little bit of load. We're getting about 55 frames, so about like a 15 frames per second increase. We are getting some big stutters. Let's see. Let's try to make our way over to land a little bit. Let's go over here. The particle quality is this low, and we're still getting not even over 50 frames currently. We're getting about 55 on average. We're getting some pretty big stutters as well. I mean, it's playable, right? Like it's not perfect, but it's definitely playable if you need to get on. If I stare at the floor and run, we get averaging about 50 frames. We got a trap there. Let's try to die and see what happens. 11.5. Boom. Honestly, the death part was probably the most frames we got throughout the whole experience. Let's respawn one more time just to see if that has anything to do with it. Definitely playable, but probably not the best experience for Rust. Honestly, for a game like Rust, it held up pretty well. I was expecting a little bit worse performance from the Mac's perspective. The overall score for Rust has to be a 4 out of 10. You also have to keep in mind that the M4 Mac Mini starts off at the price of $600. And for 600 bucks, it gets you a playable system that can do a lot of your productivity and work lifestyle and some gaming. I wouldn't recommend playing Rust at anything higher than potato settings though. When we had the game running at those high settings, it was almost impossible to get a clear picture of what you were looking at. It came with a lot of stuttering, it came with a lot of FPS lag, and you're definitely gonna have a rough time if you're getting into any fights on Rust. I think that the Mac is a perfect machine for your everyday work, something that you can be very productive on, and not something that is your main gaming machine. I think you could definitely do some gaming as we've seen it hold up today. But I think for a majority of us, especially when we were talking about some of those game titles and especially some of the performance on those more intense games, the Mac is just still very limited. You're definitely gonna want something that performs a little bit better than where the M4 Mac Mini is at right now. And that is where that leaves us off today. So as you can see, I'm just editing the video now. It is the next day and I realized that I didn't film an outro for the vid. And just wanted to say, if you enjoyed the video, please smash that thumbs up and subscribe. Since this is the second video that is going up on the channel, it would definitely mean a lot. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. Maybe I changed your mind about getting a new Mac, maybe a new Mac Mini with that M4. This was a lot of fun to test out and a lot of good knowledge for even myself to have for if I'm gonna be doing any gaming on the new Mac. So it was a lot of fun and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys.